Alright, it's a beautiful Friday. The hearing at the Supreme Court has come to an end. We're waiting for the judgment on 5th. That is Monday. Glad to be with me here, and I'm glad to be with you this right time on Maisha Prime News on Maisha Television, the fastest growing TV station. We are here to inform you and educate you on all that is happening in the country and beyond. But first, here are the top stories. Tonight,
we were told by my colleague, Mr. Gumbo, there were no foreigners in this election. We were told the foreigners left before the 8th of August. We were told they did not even have access to maintain the server. This is on the 9th of August, and at the top left-hand corner there is the name of one of the Venezuelans, Jose Camargo. This is the person who decided the president-elect of the country.
Lawyer Julie Soweto, representing Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga and his running mate Martha Karua, show evidence suggesting that the August 9th general election had been tampered with. Plus,
let me say this. Once a plumber has fixed your bathroom, that plumber has no business being in your bathroom when you are showering. If you find him at that time, you tell him, get behind me, Satan, as was said in the book of Mark 8:33 in the Bible, when the devil entered Peter and Jesus told him, get behind me, Satan. A plumber who is in your bathroom when you're showering after fixing your shower is no longer a plumber, is a sexual offender and should be reported.
Lawyer Willis Otieno cracks up the Supreme Court judges using Jesus' words and plumber narrative. And
akamwambia anakuja kuchukua manguo, si mara ya kwanza, ni several times anacomplain sana, anamekuja bibi yake kwa nyumba. Nafikiri hii ndio imechangia hata kufa kwake, kwa sababu hata jana msichana mwenye anakaa hapa na yeye anasema alishinda hapa kwa nyumba.
A 50-year-old man in Abungaya village in Shinyalu constituency in Kakamega County commits suicide. Alright, welcome. My name is Bushabe Jr. Let's kick off with the news making headlines. Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga's legal team claimed that Venezuelan national Jose Camargo helped in election interference. Lawyer Julie Soweto, in her submission before the 7-judge bench on Friday, September 2nd, through a PowerPoint presentation, displayed a Form 34A which bore the name Jose Camargo. According to Julie, the Form 34A bearing Camargo's name was uploaded on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission portal. The form belongs to Gasharago Primary School polling station in Muguru Ward in Muranga County. She argued that his name is evidence enough that he was allegedly responsible for interfering with the forms and manipulating votes which were being uploaded on the IEBC portal. Millicent Luamba followed that up.
Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga's legal team claimed that Venezuela national Jose Camargo helped in election interference.
It is overlaid over a document written Jose Camargo. Jose Camargo is one of the Venezuelans that was arrested at the airport with charges of coming to interfere with the elections. He is one of the people that the last Mahat has said did not have access to the RTS. This form is in the official portal of IEBC. The question would be, was this document photographed by a presiding officer at Gasharaigo Primary School, sometimes possibly at 8 o'clock in the night? Or is it possible that this document has been photographed elsewhere in some office and uploaded? This, we ask the court to read the DCI report regarding Jose Camargo, and we believe, my lords, that these are the fingerprints of one of the suspects of the theft of this election. That is all.
Lawyer Julie Soweto, in her submission before the 7-judge bench on Friday, September 2nd, through a PowerPoint presentation, displayed a Form 34A which bore the name Jose Camargo. According to Julie, the Form 34A bearing Camargo's name was uploaded on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC portal.
We demonstrate with examples in real time how the Form 34A was interfered with or could be interfered with. And I will do so showing you or using the IEBC's forms itself, straight from the IEBC, from the IEBC portal. My lords and my ladies, I will walk you back through the form that we have just showed you. I see that the court has laptops, which means you're tech savvy, and you can access the IBC portal asked that we do. I'm asking that we go to the forms portal in the IBC. We are projecting it up so that it's not set.
The form belonged to Gasharagu Primary School polling station in Muguru Ward in Meru County. She argued that his name is evident enough that he was allegedly responsible for interfering with the forms and manipulating votes which were being uploaded on the IEBC portal.
Muguru and Gasharaigo Primary School 02. This is live.
She further argued that he reportedly played a key role in determining the president-elect. Soweto as well argued that Azimio la Umoja had earlier raised their concern regarding Camargo, and IEBC assured that they could not infiltrate the system. In their response, the Directorate and Criminal Investigation DCI accused 3 Venezuelan nationals, Salvador Javier, Jose Castellano and Joel Garcia, of accessing the IEBC system.
And the idea of the law of electronic transmission was that that image must appear as it is on the other end. The issue here is that there appears to be a place at which that format was changed. No reason has been given why that format was changed.
The trio were caught with IEBC materials while entering the country via Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. IEBC lawyers led by former Attorney General Githu Muigai had earlier dismissed allegations that the Venezuelans had access to the portal. Through lawyer Eric Gumbo, on September 1st, IEBC stated that the 3 foreigners were contracted by Smartmatic, one of the providers of technology used in the Tuesday, August 9 general elections. He added that the three were tasked with maintaining the technology and ensuring it worked effectively on the polling day. The IEBC legal team further dismissed Raila's petition, stating that it did not prove how the Venezuelans committed election fraud. Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
Right, thank you, Millicent. And moving on, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has denied the alleged involvement of Venezuelan Jose Camargo, whose name is captured on altered Form 34A on the public portal. According to the electoral body represented by lawyer Mahat Somane, said that the trio was only given limited and supervised access to the said servers, which essentially made it impossible for them to act independently and rig the said contest in favor of William Ruto. Somane is one of the many lawyers representing IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati in the ongoing presidential petition filed by Raila Odinga challenging the outcome of the presidential polls.
I wish to respond to three very quick issues that were raised by my learned colleague, Ms. Julie Soweto. The first one relates to a form that was shown this court. I will want the form to be projected. We will. Whatever that was projected from the portal, that is what we want the court to see. What Ms. Julie Soweto showed. You could go, please go to Jose Camargo. I want to produce to the court the original form 34A. It's okay. Yes, you can see. It's okay. I want to produce the form 34A. The original form 34A, and I want to inform the court that the name Jose Camargo on that form is an overlay. Jose Camargo, the register of the QR code, that was printed by Smartmatic International, and it was printed in the name of Jose Camargo. You can show. The register is available.
We were very patient the way Mr. Mohammed addressed the court earlier. Very, very persuasive. But for good order and not to interfere with his submissions, we kept quiet. And if you look back at the record, a lot of what Mr. Mohammed was saying was actually giving evidence. He was talking using the word we. This is how we do it. The trajectory which he is taking without a witness to tell us the kind of information he's going to give us is going to put the court in a very difficult position. I think he should transform himself to a witness and we begin to cross-examine him. Because, and this is very serious, either we practice law the way we understand the law, or anybody can confront the court with any document at any time. I understood Mrs. Soweto to be giving an explanation in response to a question by the court. And similarly, Mr. Mohammed was responding to question by the court. And therefore he had some latitude. But now we are entering a different universe where he is now going to produce evidence. He is saying how the picture was taken. There is no certificate, and this is electronic evidence.
What we are trying to do is to show you documents in our own affidavits in response to documents produced from the bar. Ms. Soweto never produced the document she showed you in any of her affidavits. When we now invite you to look at the original and to make the argument that my learned friend is about to make, that there is a deliberate misrepresentation of what the original document looked like. So we are treated to this attempt to block that fact from the court. This is not a legitimate objection. This is an attempt to interfere with legitimate evidence that is on record.
Okay. let's give it directions, because we'll be here until tomorrow and we don't have this time. Senior Counsel.
Yeah, just one point. And I'm normally very quiet, and I continue to be very quiet. But the good professor has misunderstood Ms. Soweto completely. It is not this document which is in question. It's the way the interference is being done. How this document is changed to another document twice or three times.
From the readings that we have, that these are new forms, and indeed they are entitled to respond to them.
An allegation has been made as relates to this form, and there's an overlay of someone called Mr. Jose Camargo. What we were trying to show the court, that this is an overlay document, and we wanted to actually show the court where this document from Jose Camargo has come from. The document relating to Jose Camargo has come from the QR register, which is distributed to every polling station. And that document is even in the possession of this court. If you look at the scrutiny report, the QR documents are there. So what happened? Apio took an original Form 34A, he had the QR register, and he took a picture of it. What is the evidence that is being given in this court? That someone called Jose Camargo is interfering with this. And the point we want to make to this court is that if you look at the scrutiny report and if you look at the QR register, which is in those boxes, you will actually find the name of Jose Camargo on the register that has been printed. We've also produced the original Form 34A. We've come with the receipt. And we're being told that you cannot produce your original 34A, that Jose Camargo was interfering. And in fact, if you look at the numbers on the original 34A, it's the same as what the picture of the overlay was taken. So to the question that someone called Jose Camargo was interfering with the portal, it's actually not true. It's incorrect. Which had the same serial number. And we understood our role to this court to give all the information to the court to make a decision. We admit that those schemes have the same serial number. It was an error that originated at the time of the serialization. But we want to tell the court that those schemes have different IMEI, they have different IP addresses, they have different polling stations, they have so they have different identifiers. And we acknowledge that that is an error that originated relating to those two schemes. But there are other identifiers that can identify those schemes are from our system. And we want to give that information to the court for purposes. Those schemes are on their way to this court. We will give to the registrar of the court for the court to analyze and to look at it. And if you look at those schemes, they transmitted the forms as required in the portal, and the A's also are coming, the original A's we will also give for those three forms. And our role is to give. The issue of transmission has come up. I just want to say this. There were three sets of transmissions at BOMAS. One on the forms that has been downloaded, that was running properly. The second one related to the constituencies, that was continuing. The one which had stopped was the one on the tally. And the reason it stopped was, for 3 days, we had only verified 50 arrows. The process became clogged. For you to be able to transmit to the announcement, verification had to happen, then announcement happens. That means that those arrows have to be stopped, because verification cannot happen as announcement is happening. We will be running numbers that have not been announced yet.
The forms that are now in issue have not been pleaded, were not tendered, and since they were not pleaded and they were not tendered, we should not be accused of not having responded to them. Point number two, both agents have made a legitimate or have made an innocent mistake about the date. And I don't see where the laughter is emanating from. Point number three,
you are responding to the two forms which were introduced.
As new evidence.
Yes, please don't go to other things that you are not supposed to, because we will not see an end to this.
The form now before you has security features. The one that was displayed does not have. The one that you have does not have the name of Jose Camargo. The one that was displayed before the court has that name of Jose Camargo. The original one you now have does not have that name, and all those things were meant to deceive. They were meant to mislead. Thank you.
Just deal with the two forms.
All right, and moving on, Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC lawyer George Murugu responded to questions raised by the 7-judge bench regarding stray ballots. Speaking on Friday, Murugu argued that the election laws stipulate that unmarked ballot paper is considered null and void, hence it is not tallied. Lawyer Mahat Somane dismissed allegations that some voters walked into the polling station and voted for the president alone. He explained that the integrity of the ballot election process prohibits such action. Sharon Chepchumba followed that up.
Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC lawyer George Murugu responded to questions raised by the 7-judge bench regarding stray ballots. Murugu argued that the election law stipulates that unmarked ballot paper is considered null and void, hence it is not tallied.
At Regulation 69, which provides for the voting procedure, that is the Regulation 69 of the Election General Regulations, it provides that a voter will be issued with ballot papers for all elections in a multiple election. That is at Regulation 69.2. At 69.2a, he is expected to cast his votes in respect of all the elections. 69.3 makes it an offense for a person to knowingly fail to place his or her ballot paper issued to him inside a ballot box. But at Regulation 77e, an unmarked ballot is treated as rejected and is void and shall not be counted for purposes of declaring a result at the polling station. At Regulation 78.3, the presiding officer then is put under an obligation to record in Form 41 the head of rejection for each ballot, and for our purposes, Sub-Regulation 3D then addresses the question of unmarked ballots. Regulation 81B then provides that rejected ballots, such as the unmarked ballots, are sealed in a tamper-proof envelope and placed in the ballot box. That is how they are accounted for, Honorable Justice of the Supreme Court.
Lawyer Mahat Somane dismissed allegations that some voters walked into the polling station and voted for the president alone. He explained that the integrity of the ballot election process prohibits such action.
I want to tell this court, there is this fascination by the petitioners on turnout. We don't use turnout to determine the presidential election. I think that is the base to start from. The reason why we give turnout is a measure of transparency and integrity to know how many people pass through the kit. And the problem with it is a lot of people don't understand how these kits work. If you look at the numbers I gave on that screen, you will see, in fact, if you look at 20-45 hours, 63.6 and 64.6, you will see that the total registered voters on 9th August 2045 is 21 million, under the KIMS 589,961. On 10th August is 21,926,565. If you deduct those numbers and you compare to the people who are actually identified by the kits, actually the people who are identified by the kits is more than this number. And a lot of people will say, oh, why do we have more people who are registered in those stations than people voted? It happens, and because the relationship between the people who are identified in the kit and those total number of voters in those polling stations is not a linear relationship in this sense. So 9th August 2045, a kit will report 10 people. So we'll say 10 people have been identified in those kits, but the number of registered voters is 700. We will add in the total number of registered voters. You reached 10th August 240. That kit has already given its maximum registered voters in the original reporting. But people will keep on passing it. When another 20 people pass through, the kit will report 20 people have passed me through. So we will say the voters identified under the KIMS has increased. But we don't increase the registered voters in those polling stations because it is already reported. So the relationship is not one-to-one. And you have to understand, and this is the confusion that is coming, we have to understand, the only way you will know the total registered voters is when all the KIMS have reported. So when all the KIMS had reported, because this is a snapshot of that information in time. When all the KIMs had reported, the voter turnout was 64.7103. So what was remaining that time? Only the manual voters. How many? 86,899. So it's good to understand that, because if someone just looked at this information, you will come with all manner of confusion. So the kit will report, once one voter passed through the kit, we say one voter identified, but the column of registered in that policy we put 700. But the voters will keep on going through the kit. So as people go through the kit, we'll keep on increasing the voters identified in that kit, but the number of registered voters will remain constant.
Mahat Somane once again reiterated that the 3 Venezuelan nationals who were granted access to its servers during the August 9th polls did not meddle with the outcome of the presidential election.
The issue of the Venezuelans, they were involved in deployment of infrastructure and the servers platform, where they did not have any access to the RTS. Look at the affidavit of Michael Ouma. Look at the affidavit of Hilda Kavongo. It actually shows the kind of rights they had. There was no unauthorized access, and in fact the scrutiny report will bear that out.
On whether Chebukati gazetted himself as the national agent or returning officer, Murugu explained that the Elections Act places an obligation upon the chairperson of the commission to declare results.
Article 138.10 places an obligation upon the chairperson of the commission to declare the result. So the gazettement was not for purposes of Article 138.3c, but specifically for Article 138.10 to fulfill that role, to take up that responsibility, to account for that result that follows a presidential election. That is the specific purpose for that gazettement. But while I'm on this question, I would also want to pose another question. Would it then mean that if the gazette notice was to fall away, would it then mean that the chairperson of the commission under Article 138.10 would not be in a position and suffer lack of constitutional authority to declare that result? My answer is no. In other words, the gazette notice is purposely to tell Kenyans that the Constitution has rested these obligations upon this office to declare that result. Beyond that, it is superfluous. And I urge Madam Chief Justice and Honorable Justices of the Supreme Court that that particular gazettement should not be read to mean that the chairperson had gone rogue, that the chairperson had taken upon himself and arrogated unto himself a power that he did not have. It is the Constitution speaking. It is in fulfillment of a constitutional expectation and obligation under Article 138.10.
On why Chebukati did not announce result from 27 constituency, Murugu further explained that the commissioners were suffering arrest and abductions during the tallying.
Why didn't the chairperson wait until the next day and try to reach consensus and address the 27 constituencies? It is important to point out at this juncture that the 27 constituencies had been tallied and had undergone the verification process. And we're ready for announcement by Professor Gulie. My lords and my ladies, I refer the Honorable Court to paragraph 35 of the affidavit of Professor Gulie, filed in the main petition. And as to the circumstances why the chairperson opted to declare the results on the very day that he did, The explanation is to be found in paragraphs 86 and 111 of his affidavit. But if I may summarize, he made considerations concerning security of his staff, who at that particular point in time were suffering arrests, abductions, and injuries to officials, including commissioners. In his mind, it was prudent to conclude the exercise since Article 138(3)(c) had been fully satisfied. And there was a legitimate expectation that the results were to be declared on the 15th of August, as had been announced on that very morning.
Further, Kindiki explained that the chaos that erupted prior to the announcement by Chebukati played a part in the rush to announce the results.
By the morning of the 15th, letters had been issued by the returning officer of the presidential election, Mr. Chebukati, to all the presidential candidates and members of their family to be at the National Tallying Center for the declaration of results at 3 p.m. on that day. And my client already had received that invitation. I believe the other presidential candidates had those letters. And therefore, they knew by the time these state officers went to the National Tallying Center, they knew that the verification tallying had been completed, and what was pending was the declaration of the final result. It is our submission, Chief Justice, distinguished judges of the Supreme Court, that these four went to the National Tallying Center not for any other reason but to try to interfere with the declaration of results and thereby try to alter the sovereign will of the people of Kenya, which had already been verified and tallied in accordance with Article 138(3)(c).
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Sharon Chepchumba.
Right, thank you, Sharo. Now moving on, Smartmatic International, which was contracted by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to supply the Kenya Integrated Elections Management System, that is KIMS-KITS, has denied Azimio la Umoja party leader Raila Odinga access to its servers. In a letter dated August 31st, addressed to IBC Chief Executive Officer Majan Hussein, Smartmatic said it will not provide access to the provision of images on its servers, despite an order issued by the Supreme Court, a matter that came up even on Friday. The technology firm that was used in the August 9th general election has maintained non-compliance in the release of forensic images of NTC servers, saying the images contain software owned and copyrighted by Smartmatic and hence IP protected. In a letter to Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC Chief Executive Officer Marjan Hussein, the company claims that allowing full access would violate its intellectual property rights. This comes after lawyers for Raila Odinga's counsel, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya flag bearer, claimed that the poll body had refused to comply with Supreme Court orders providing limited access to the servers.
We have been given restricted access only to the result transmission system, and only access, not access, it has not been granted yet.
The servers, to have access to the servers of the National Tallying Center, to demonstrate how Form 34C was dealt with. The forensic image of the 34C was granted, and all parties were also given time to interact with this server the whole day. Now, the third and more important, part of that order also was to see whether there was any deletion
Justices of the court had ordered a scrutiny of the election servers to ascertain claims on system manipulation. However, the firm pointed out that the release of forensic images would risk exposing their system to hacking and tampering, which would potentially make their system insecure in the conduct of elections. The letter said, and I quote in part, "In addition to violating our IP rights, this would also jeopardize elections in other countries that are using or have used our systems." End of quote. Smartmatic has, however, stated that it is willing to make available all collected data and logs linked to the results transmission system. The technology firm advised IEBC to the information, saying it will be sufficient to enable a thorough audit into the results transmission system. The letter said, and I quote in part, "Also, all physical tally reports were available online in real time since election night. All political parties and certified NGO elections observers had access to those tallies and were able to audit the results independently. Even citizens all over the world had full access to these tally reports and were able to add the results." End of quote. Senior counsel Philip Murgor, who is one of the lawyers representing Odinga, told the court that out of the 8 servers, the commission had put a block on server 5 and that they had discovered that some logs from the servers were deleted.
Of those 8 servers, IBC are providing only limited access to server number 5.
Administration password. The order issued by the court had a security exception, but if it was determined it was too risky to provide something, we were to object and provide an explanation. My ladies, my lords, we objected because those persons once identified, their personal security could not be guaranteed in any way. And that explanation was accepted by everybody. The rest of the documentation that Senior Counsel Mugo said were not provided, my lady, that report says they were provided. The password policy is number 1, the password matrix is number 2, the system users and level access is number 4. Those documents, my lady, were provided and the registrar noted the same. On the second order, my lady, the one about the server, my lady, I'll come back to it, but there is only one server. Senior learned counsel Mr. Mugo was economical with the truth, and I will develop it in the responses and queries raised by his agent Mr. George, who is identified in the annex that the registrars provided. Mr. George is in R2 and he appears as George Joroge, the 13th person in that list. George Joroge, he assigned, he was his agent. So my lady, access was provided to the server, and I read something that was noted by the registrar on page 17, supervised access. Agents were granted supervised access to the live server through an interactive session. All their concerns and questions.
The IEBC has also been ordered to provide them with copies of its technology system security policy, comprising but not limited to password policy, password matrix, and owners of system administration passwords. They will also be given information on the system users and levels of access, workflow charts for identification, tallying, transmission, and posting of portals. IEBC will also provide its technology system security policy comprising any application programming interface that had been integrated and the list of human interface and controls for such intervention. However, the provision is subject to any security-related issues. While appearing before the Supreme Court judges hearing the presidential petition, Murgor said IEBC technology was not secure, confidential, or authentic. While seeking to convince the Martha Koome-led judges to nullify the presidential election, Murgor pointed out that there is evidence of downloading and uploading of Forms 34As at the IEBC portal by known and unknown individuals.
That the Form 34A would be scanned by the KIMS kit into a PDF, which was then transmitted into the storage server. At the storage server, the form is processed by an application to check for compliance, to certify that the security features have been complied with, and the PDF has all the features that are supposed to be there. There was a theory of the middleman that was being propagated by one of the petitioners, and in this scrutiny, we could not find any middleman. In fact, there was a direct link from where the results were transmitted. So the transmission was from the KIMS kit. It would go to the National Tallying Center. One form would go to the National Tallying Center. The second form would go to the constituency Tallying Center. And the third form would go to the portal. And in this path, results path, there was no middleman.
Murgor also poked holes on the 3 Venezuelans who were arrested upon landing in Nairobi 2 weeks before the general election, who he claimed were able to access the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission servers and compromise the results. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Bushabi Jr. Our senior counsel James Orengo now says that Azimio la Umoja chief Raila Odinga moved to the Supreme Court to challenge the outcome of the August 9th presidential polls, largely because he felt that IEBC infringed on the constitution when it conducted the said contest. Speaking before the Supreme Court on Friday, Orengo continued Azimio's onslaught on the electoral agency and specifically Chairperson Wafula Chebukati for allegedly violating IEBC's mandate to conduct free, transparent and credible elections as stipulated by the Kenyan Constitution. Orengo is one of the many lawyers representing Raila Odinga in the petition case in the Supreme Court.
You, with respect, cannot allow what has happened at IEBC to go without some kind of action in the lines that was suggested by my learned senior, Firoz Norji. Impunity must be punished. Impunity must be punished. And impunity unpunished breeds arrogance. And arrogance leads to arbitrary exercise of power. And without that being done, this commission, which has got the protection of the Constitution, without the court making some interventions, it still be a divided commission with a triumvirate that runs the affairs of a commission that is supposed to protect and defend the sovereignty of the people. And what I'm saying in a nutshell, that this election cannot pass on account of violation of the Constitution, even by the constitutional dictates how this commission should run its affairs. If they cannot conduct their affairs in the manner dictated by the Constitution, then how can they preside over an election and that election have some legitimacy to the people of Kenya and to the world? Secondly, and this would be my last point, that if you look at Article 138, sub-article 4, and my learned friend Mr. Otiende addressed you on this, that requirement for a successful candidate getting 50% plus one of the votes cast is not an idle provision in the Constitution. It requires of the Commission to come with it before your Lordship seriously when there is contestation and put the numbers before you in rebuttal to the case that were put before you.
Now, Attorney General Kihara Kariuki has dismissed claims that the National Security Advisory Council (NSAC) attempted to subvert the outcome of the presidential election in Raila Odinga's favor. Through his lawyer, George Oraro, Kihara stated that the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, who also doubles up as the NSAC chairperson, visited the National Tallying Center to obtain the final tally of the presidential election results. This is in contrast to earlier reports that the NSAC members were privy to the final results of the August 9th election and went to the Bomas of Kenya purposely to moderate the numbers. On the question of the independence of the IEBC, the AG argued that the NSAC is mandated to issue advice when necessary on matters of security.
And you queried whether NSC would have gone to influence the alterations of results without knowing the results. My learned friend who has just appeared exhorts that the results were known because invitations had been sent out and the letter had been sent out. To the contrary, the evidence before you by the chairman was that he had gone to tally, to obtain the final tally only after he had met the commission, and that is found at paragraph 676 of his affidavit, where he says that after the NSAC team had left, the commission secretary, chief executive officer, who was also the alternate team leader of the tallying center, Majan Hussein, walked into the boardroom. Yeah. The purpose of the meeting was to receive the final tally of the results of the presidential elections before he could proceed to declare. And it is only thereafter that the results were handed to the commissioners and they walked out. So that even by the admission of the chairman, he was not aware of the results until after the NSAC team had left. Now, the Deputy Chief Justice asked about the effect of NSAC on the independence of IEBC. Your Ladyship, NSAC is a body comprised of all the heads of the security organs in this country, the head of civil service, the representative of Attorney General, and other heads in the government. Its purpose is to receive all the information on national security and give advice, not act, but give advice, so that even if they are of the view that it is insecure to be in this court at this time, it is the NSC who will give advice to the judiciary, and that is not an interference with the independence. And we have to take their role in the context that these four members of the NSAC were co-opted by the bigger body. They were not there on their own account, which has led to them now being vilified for undertaking an official duty they were requested to undertake.
Now, Advocate Willis Otieno addressed questions by the Supreme Court on whether there will be a gap if the Apex Court moves to indict the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati. According to Otieno, Article 142 of the Constitution states that the president who is in office continues until a new one is elected. Otieno maintained that Chebukati is not immortal and he can resign from the office, but this does not mean the commission and elections will not be conducted in the country. Sharon Chepchumba with that report.
The public was treated too long but interesting submissions from lawyers on Friday as they worked to outshine each other before the Supreme Court judges.
When an alligator comes out of the water and tells you that the crocodile is sick, do you doubt him? When the commissioners come out and tell you that our processes are opaque, our processes are not as per the Constitution, do you doubt them? I urge you, don't doubt them.
Fresh from the Solomonic wisdom phrased by lawyer Kioko Kilukumi, it was lawyer Willis Otieno's turn to prove his oratory flair and mastery of English.
As a PDF, and I tie it to the response, what Kamago was doing in the system. And my learned friend Samani said, he's a plumber. He's like a plumber maintaining the system. Let me say this. Once a plumber has fixed your bathroom, that plumber has no business being in your bathroom when you are showering. If you find him at that time, you tell him, get behind me, Satan, as was said in the book of Mark 8:33 in the Bible, when the devil entered Peter, and Jesus told him, get behind me, Satan.
He was referring to Venezuelan Jose Camargo, who was accused of having hacked into the IEBC portal and altered critical forms used to declare results in polling stations, as demonstrated by one of Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga's lawyer Julie Soweto. Chief Justice Martha Koome, however, overruled him.
A plumber who is in your bathroom when you are showering after fixing your shower is no longer a plumber, is a sexual offender and should be reported.
Let's stick to the...
I'm guided.
Advocate Otieno also answered questions raised by President-elect William Ruto's lawyer Fred Ngatia, who had raised concerns that election officials are tired and they need to move on to other assignments.
The question was raised by Mr. Ngatia that election officials are tired, they need to go back to work. Convenience again. I say this. Our constitutional values and provisions should not be sacrificed at the altar of convenience. If the election officials are tired and cannot do another election, please, we have more Kenyans who are willing to do this work properly. Give them that opportunity.
Otieno further argued that the president will continue in office, but his powers will be regulated as the law indicates.
And when I say the president will continue in office, of course, within a narrowed mandate, but the systems and the functions of government will continue. The lacuna will not affect the people of Kenya. The right thing is to make sure that the people's voices are actually heard in a true, transparent election.
Otieno maintained that Chebukati is not immortal and he can resign from office, but this does not mean the commission and elections will still be conducted in the country.
Mr. Chebukati is not immortal. He could even resign from his office. Does it mean that this country can collapse if Mr. Chebukati resigned from his office today? No. Elections will still be held. We'll still have within our governance, we have a working parliament, we have a national executive, we have a judiciary. All these questions, all these issues can be addressed within those existing parameters. My lords and my ladies, Lycos never disappoints. You've just been told how Lycos, wherever they printed ballots, they've always ended up with postponed elections.
Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Sharon Chepchumba.
And moving on, the hearing of the presidential petition at the Supreme Court came to an end on Friday. This paves way for the 7-judge bench to deliberate on the presentations and formulate credible judgment. Supreme Court President Chief Justice Martha Koome led the judges in closing remarks, promising to deliver the judgment on Monday 5th at a time that the 7-judge bench will announce before Monday.
So we are very, very most grateful for your cooperation. Allow me also to thank the other people who worked with us round the clock. A team led by the Registrar of the Court, Honorable Letitia Wachira, and the Deputy Registrars, our law clerks who have been supporting us, all the registry staff, the executive officers, and the court assistants. We also want to recognize the role played by our security, our police unit and all the police officers and security people who have provided us with security round the clock to make sure that these proceedings move on smoothly. I may not be able to mention everybody, but also to say that anybody who did something to make these proceedings move smoothly, we are grateful to them. We also want to thank the international and local observers who came to observe these proceedings. We are grateful for your encouragement, and we continue to ask, like the Vice President has said, that you continue to pray for us so that we can render judgment that promotes our constitution, that is anchored in the law, that nurtures our democracy, that brings harmony to our country, and everything good that is stated in our constitution. So with those remarks, I will wish you a very nice evening, and as we retire ourselves to continue working. Thank you very much. I'm told that we will deliver our judgment on Monday the 5th. We shall give you notice closer to that day. I don't know, we have only tomorrow and Sunday. But we'll give you notice indicating the exact time when that will be done. It will definitely be on Monday, but I'm reminded that Monday lands up to midnight. So you'll be given the time indication in the notice. Thank you very much. Have a very nice weekend and nice evening.
And now, away from the Supreme Court matters education CS George Magoha has called on private schools admitting junior secondary school students to ensure that they have a science laboratory approved by the Ministry of Education. Speaking in Kericho, after holding consultative meeting with the county officials at the county commissioners' offices, Magoha confirmed that the percentage of completion of CBC classrooms stands at 75% in the county. He further revealed that the December national examinations will proceed as per the schedule, adding that the candidates are well prepared. Right, that's all from Magoha. I'm taking a quick commercial break, but I'll be back with more news, so stay tuned.
A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey. But a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Join Irene Mumbo Bushebi and Rita Kering on Prime Women Talk every Wednesday from 8 p.m. exclusive to MTV.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is live at Hannah's.
Barcelona is live from Damascus.
We're on the doorstep. For Maisha TV.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
Trusted news, trusted sources, trusted dissemination of information.
Protect by all available means our territory.
Parliament must be careful.
Maisha Prime News, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. trusted, unbiased, authoritative. The stage is set. The time is now. Credible news. It is prime news. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the best. Informative, authoritative, unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News.
Engineering jobs can now also be found widely in the computer engineering, software engineering, nanotechnology, mechatronics, and many more.
Engineering tips in association with
Kongoni Technical and Vocational College, technology and innovation to meet societal needs.
It is a season of seriousness, and only the serious presenters come onto your screen.
Maisha Prime News and Maisha Prime Morning Edition. My hustle, my story. Maisha Prime Weekend.
Rida Kirin Chibet, Millicent Makoha, Brian Gad. Only on Maisha TV. The stage is set. The time is now. Credible news. It is prime news. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the best. Informative, authoritative, unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News. When it comes to technical training and research in science, technology and innovation, you can trust Matili Technical Training Institute, whether it's certificate or diploma in institutional management, automotive engineering, mechanical engineering courses, electrical and electronics engineering, information and communication technology, building construction and civil engineering, business studies, among many. We provide theoretical knowledge. Our exams is from the trusted examination bodies, among them NITA, CASNEB, NEC, among others. The government provides 30,000 shillings for capitation, and of 26,000 shillings remaining, needy students can acquire HELB loan. To apply for admission at Matili Technical College, visit our website www.matilitechnical.ac.ke. You can also call us on 0721 664 708 or 0724 402 786. You can also send your application to PO Box 765204, Kimilili, Matili Technical Training Institute, located in Kimilili constituency in Bungoma. Matili Technical Training Institute, a center of excellence in mechanical engineering.
All right, welcome back. You are watching Maisha Prime News. My name is Bushabe Jr. This is Maisha TV Now News. Former Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi has joined President-elect William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Ruto on Friday, September 2nd, announced that Murungi's Devolution Empowerment Party DEP will be part of the alliance after holding discussions where several issues were discussed. Earlier, Murungi said 13 members of the county assembly elected via his party will meet Ruto at his current home. Kiraitu, prior to the election, supported Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga. The former governor lost his first election in over 3 decades to an independent candidate, Kawira Mwangaza, who garnered 209,158 votes.
Thank you very much. After
or underemployed in various and profitable Astra enterprises. This is the political journey we have come to walk together. The bus ride in the Azimio coalition has been bumpy and slippery. But we are aware that historically, no political journey is easy or smooth. A political journey is always...
And you know the truth of the matter, Your Excellency. We have always been one team. Isipokuwa ni shetani alikuja ile match that day akatuingilia hata kutukoroga, because we have tried to analyze this whole situation. Ni shetani peke yake, because we cannot understand how people who used to be together wanacheka pamoja, wanakula pamoja, wanafanya kazi pamoja, karibu tukosane. Lakini raia wameamua that we should be one. The way they voted in the presidential vote, the people of our region have indicated that they would like us to be one under Williams Ruto. And therefore the decision that Mheshimiwa Kiraitu Murungi and Kivuti they have made is a good decision, and we welcome that decision. And they have said that they want to be part of the team, and they are not coming to displace anybody. They accept and respect the leaders who have been elected, and that is as it should.
By selling ideas, agenda, a program, and a plan where people can buy into freely and in a democratic manner. The challenge Azimio is going to face is because they have built their formation using threats, blackmail, and intimidation. The tools of threats, blackmail, and intimidation will not be available to them. The tools they have used to build their coalition will not be available to them, because we have made a commitment that going forward, the provincial administration will be a professional organization that will not serve any political party, but will serve the people of Kenya. The offices of the DCI and EACC will not be available for the use by any political party. They will serve to make sure the resources of the people of Kenya are used for the intended purposes in a transparent manner, and no Kenyan will be hounded by our criminal justice system because of what they believe in, the political party they belong to. We are going to professionalize those organizations so that they work for the people of Kenya and they do not work for any political party. And therefore, our good friends in Azimio must begin to figure out how else they intend to keep their coalition, because the way they have assembled it, using threats and blackmail and intimidation.
Right, from that sort of the president-elect now, 50-year-old man has stunned villagers at Abungaya village in Shinyal constituency in Kakamega County after he took his own life. The late Ezra's Kim body was found hanging on a tree outside his house. Millicent Luamba with that story.
Sorrow and grief engulfed a Bungaya village in Shinyalu constituency, Kakamega County, after a body of a 50-year-old man, Ezra Skim, was found hanging on a tree outside his home in what is believed that he committed suicide. According to the wife of the late, Max Miller, her husband woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning and went outside, realizing he was not back. Max Miller was worried, informing her children that got out to look for their late father. Their efforts, however, proving futile.
Aliamka ni kama anaenda nje kujisaidia. Nikaona tu ameenda kujisaidia. Lakini sasa kitu yenye ilifanya nikawa na wasiwasi hakurudi haraka. Nikawa muoga. Hata nikaamuka, nikaanza kusunguka kwa nyumba nikiangalia. Bana nikasema hapana. Hata kama huwa anaenda nje, atumiange mlango ya mbele, huwa anatumia mlango ya nyuma. Alafu nikakaa kidogo, nikaona hakuji, ndio nikaongeza njiapi, nikasema hapana, nikamsha watu.
But when the sun was out, one of the children noticed a body was hanging on a tree. The late had committed suicide.
Nikuamka asubuhi kijana akawa anatoka, nikamwambia unajua ni nini? Papa ameamka hapa usiku, sijamuona. Sijui ameenda pahali ama ni nini baya, sijamuona. Alikuwa anakuja kutafuta wengine waende kibarua. Alafu naye akarudi tena nyumbani hiyo, akiniita kwa sauti. Hata mimi nikawa shocked. Akaniambia mama, kuja tuende, kuja tu. Sitaki nikupe wasiwasi, lakini kuja tu tuende. Tukafika hapa nikakuta haya yamefanyika hivi.
The widow Max Miller Anyika claims after attending one of his friend's funeral in Malinya Ikolomani constituency, his late husband was not in a good state.
Tena ameenda nje lakini sioni akirudi. Sasa sijui anaenda pahali ama ni aje. Sababu yeye akipanga safari zake huwa anaenda tu ghafla, hata ambiangi mtu. Akipanga safari yake anashtuka tu na anaenda.
The demise of Ezra Skim has raised questions from his family, who now claim days before his death, the late had complained about a disastrous relationship with his wife.
Ni 2 weeks kama amekuwa kwangu akilalamika kuhusu bibi. Kuteswa na bibi, kunyima chakula. Hakai vizuri kwa nyumba, ni mateso tu. Nikawa nimemwambia akuje tuishi na yeye huko kwangu. Akaniambia anakuja kuchukua manguo huko. Si mara ya kwanza, ni several times amecomplain sana maneno kuhusu bibi yake kwa nyumba. Nafikiri hii ndio imechangia hata kufa kwake, kwa sababu hata jana msichana mwenye anakaa hapa na yeye anasema alishinda hapa kwa nyumba. Walishinda na yeye hapa, akacha akamwambia anataka chakula akule. Na msichana akampea chakula akakula. Nilimwambia kama anaona mateso avumilie kama mwanaume, na akiona imezidi atoke huko akuje nyumbani kwangu tuishi na yeye. Akaniambia atapanga siku atakuja kwangu tuishi na yeye. Ndio sasa ndio nimepigiwa simu asubuhi saa 12 atamejinyonga.
The family has now called on the government to speed its investigation Ezra Skim's death.
Jina langu ni Mali. Skim akiwa ndugu yangu. Tunakaa naye hapa vizuri. Ya si mtu mbaya na roho mbaya, hako tu. Sasa jana tulishinda naye vizuri, asubuhi vizuri, jioni akakuja tukapika sapa, akakula vizuri. Hakuna kitu yenye aliniambia mbaya ama yenye inamfinya sana, kuniambia kitu yoyote. Bila tulimaliza kukula sapa, yeye akaenda kwake chini kulala, sisi akatuacha hapa. Mimi kafika masaa yangu ya kuondoka kwenda soko, nikaamuka saa 9, mimi nikatoka nikaenda. Sasa nikiwa soko, mtoto ndiye ananipigia tu simu, kaniambia auntie, baba mdoka hayuko. Nikamuuliza yuko kwani shida nini? Hayuko ameenda wapi? Kaniambia amechinyonga.
Marimali Chief Harriet Kaguya has castigated the incident, calling on residents to look for alternative ways of solving disputes in their families.
Kwa nyumba asubuhi nikapigiwa simu na mzee wa mtaa akiniarifu kwamba huyu mwanamume anaitwa Skim amejinyonga kwa boma lao. Ile nimedhibitisha amekufa, amejinyonga. Anaitwa Ezra Skim, 50 years. Yuko na bibi na watoto 5. Jinsi mimi naangalia na kulingana na Jinsi mimi naangalia na kulingana na uchunguzi, alijinyonga. Sababu ukiangalia yeye ni mzito na kamba ni nyembamba. So alijinyonga, kamba ikakatika, akaanguka chini hapa Malimiri sublocation. Kwa wakati huu mimi nimekuwa hapa miezi 2, hiki ni kisa cha kwanza. Ikiwa mtu ako na matatizo ya nyumba ama matatizo yoyote, ama ako na shida fulani, heri hata asika advice kutoka kwa kanisa, marafiki, hata sisi kwa serikali pia aje atuelezee.
Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
Now, police in Kamulu Kasarani constituency in Nairobi County are looking for a school bus driver of Renkas Education Center who is alleged to have been driving the school bus while drunk and crashed the bus in a ditch at the notorious Reflector Stretch in Ruai. According to eyewitnesses, the driver seemed to be under the influence of alcohol. Luckily, no student was in the bus at the time of the incident.
Hapa ni Reflector Kamulu, ambapo driver alikuwa akiendesha basi ya shule, lakini haikuwa na watoto. Na vile amefika hapa, driver mwenyewe alikuwa mlevi, hakuwa soba. Basi amerudisha ikaanguka chini na ametoroka. Wenye wanapewa magari ya shule wanapaa kuwa soba, sasa hilo wanaendesha magari. Hakuna mtu anatakiwa kuendesha gari ya shule akiwa amekunywa.
Nikiwa nimesema kwa barabara hapa tu kando, nilikuwa nangojea gari niweze kuabiria kwenda upande wa Joska. Hii gari ya shule imenipita. Ikiwa nafikiri ilikuwa imepeleka watoto shuleni, so ikawa inarudishwa shuleni. Imepeleka watoto nyumbani, so inarudishwa shuleni. Ndani ya gari niliona watu wawili, nafikiri ni makanga na dereva. So dakika moja ikishakuwa imenipita. Nikipindua shingo langu nyuma niangalie inaenda aje, niliona ikiwa inapinduka inaanguka. So tumekimbia pale kusaidia angalau isiwe pengine inaumiza. Kila tukufika tunapata sijika dereva ni mshtuka amekuwa na ama inakuwa namna gani, nisikia kama anastama. So siwezi ni clarify kwa ni mlevi ama kulikuwa namna gani, lakini vile tumeona pengine ndio sawa ni mlevi ama pengine ni mshtuko pengine.
Mwenye anaendesha gari ya public hapa ikunywa pombe, anapaa kuendesha hiyo gari akiwa soba. Sababu akiendesha akiwa mlevi lazima ataleta hatari maishani mwa raia. Achukuliwe watu wakali na afungwe. Watoto wetu wangekuwa hapa saa hii tungekuwa tunahesabu wale wameumia na wengine hata labda wangekufa.
Ni vizuri ku examine dereva. Iwe ni shule ama mtu yote anaenda na gari ya public, ni bora angalau, ama dereva yote tu barabarani ni vizuri kuwa soba. Manake hata mbali na kuendesha watoto peke yao, mtu mwingine yote barabarani pia kuna uwezekano ukaweza kuhatarisha maisha ya watu.
Now, Mombasa County Governor-elect Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir has promised to revive the Mombasa County economy. Speaking in Mombasa, Nasir said he is already receiving reports from all the county departments and he will act promptly once all the financial information is on his table. Nasir, who is expected to be sworn into office on September 15th, was speaking at the Star of the Sea Secondary School in Mombasa.
And I'll be getting reports ili once we have already been sworn in, tuweze kujua zile ahadi tuloziweka, ikiwemo ni kuweka permit zote kwa under one single permit, ikiwemo ni kuangalia njia ya kuweza kupunguza hizi permits vile tulivyoahidi watu. We have to do these things. We cannot run away from debt, but we can do is after they've already been audited ya kwa hizi debt ziko, then the first thing we want to do is priority number one. Like I said, we have the human resource, which is the biggest resource in the county government. Lazima tuangalie mambo ya mishahara. Pili, baada ya hapo lazima tuweze kuangalia wale walioweza kufanya zile biashara. Lazima tukae nao chini, tuwapatie mikakati ya kuweza kuwalipa ni vipi. Deni hizi nyingine zinapita miaka 8, miaka 7. Suluhisho ni kuhakikisha ya kwa tusiwe na madeni mapya, na yale ya zamani tuweze kuyalipa. I'll be getting the full report by tomorrow from the finance department, waweze kunielezea madeni yaliyoko ni mangapi, na pesa ambazo kwamba tuna expect ni ngapi, ndio tuanze kufanya hesabu zetu.
Now moving to West Pokot County Governor Simon Kachapin has initiated an audit to the county's human resource over claims of a high number of ghost workers. Kachapin, who resumed office recently, preliminary results have revealed the county has over 1,000 ghost workers who are earning without working.
County Referral Hospital. Governor Simon Kapachin said he was shocked to discover the number of casual workers had more than tripled to close than 2,300 since he left the office as the first governor.
Kwamba yule afanye kazi basi atakeni kuwa kwa serikali. Sababu hatuwezi ku tolerate kila mtu achangie. Kwa nini mwingine ako theater na mwingine anatakana kuwa pale kwa usafi, mwingine anatakana kuwa kwa jikoni, mwingine anatakana kuwa kwa madawa, kila mmoja anachangia.
Kapachin claiming the preliminary results had revealed over 1,000 ghost workers so far.
Wachukua pesa ya serikali na wakini wafanye kazi, ilhali dawa hospitali hakuna. Na kuna watu pale wanakaa nyumbani kwa sababu walikuwa wanaunga mtu mkono au kisiasa. Wanashika mshahara, wafanye kazi. Wale tukiwapata, nafikiri tutasachaja hawa. Nataka kuhakikisha watu wetu kwamba tutafanya yale tunaweza kutumia rasilimali ile ambayo tuko naye, kuona kwamba dawa imekuwa katika hospitali ya referral na dawa na hospitali zingine zote mpaka zile za chini masahanati. Nasema kama umekuwa mfanyikazi wa serikali, civil servant, nasema ufanye kazi kuhudumia wote bila ubaguzi, kwa sababu kuna ile code of conduct ya civil service ambaye kila mmoja lazima afuate.
And now a section of members of County Assembly allied to Kenya African National Union, that is KANU, has lauded the move by TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket to ditch the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition and join Kenya Kwanza alliance led by President-elect William Ruto. While welcoming the move, the MCAs said politics is not about enmity but interests towards serving the electorate.
Tukiungana kama kitu kimoja, haya maneno yote hii chani kidogo kidogo hii itaisha kwa sababu tutakuwa na lugha moja ambayo tutaongea kwamba hii mambo kidogo kidogo ya wizi wa ng'ombe tutamaliza kwa njia gani.
Tunaunga mkono kwa sababu Ruto ni ndugu yetu, yeye ndio anatuelewa zaidi kama Wapokot kuliko hata wale wengine. Kwa hivyo nashukuru Mheshimiwa Kamket kwa sababu kwa hiyo uamuzi ya kuwa tuunge mkono Kenya Kwanza.
Tunataka tuunge Mheshimiwa Kamket vile ameenda kumuungana na Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto, na tutasupport agenda ya Mheshimiwa Samoei Ruto kwa bunge zote ya County Assembly na National Assembly.
And now the government has announced 24-hour police operation at Gatundu South in Kiambu County to weed out goons terrorizing residents. This comes in the wake of high insecurity cases being witnessed in the area that has so far claimed 3 people in a span of 1 month.
Kile ambacho nitaweka is a very serious operation against idlers. Wale wanaregarega kwa maduka bila kitu ya kufanya. Asubuhi ameamka hata hanawi uso, anakuja tu kungedia kwa shopping center. Mutarokotwa, mutafagiriwa.
Kusema kweli naridhika kwa sababu lile jambo ambalo linasumbua ni lile jambo ambalo alijaanza, na kwa sababu hii mkutano wa kwanza mimi najua tutaweza kuwa na suluhu, na zile suluhu zote ambazo tumetoa hapa na wenyeji wametuambia zote mingi ni zile ambazo tumefanya mali pengine na tukaona suluhu.
Mumesema askari wao wakitumwa, askari watakuwa wakikuja hapa kila siku. Si ndio tumeamua namna hiyo? Watakuwa wakitembea hapa kila siku mchana na usiku.
Well, with that story from Kiambu, I'm taking another quick commercial break, but I'll be back with more stories, so stay tuned.
Are you looking for a reputable technical institution to enhance your technical skills? Look no further. Kongoni Technical and Vocational College is an approved technical training institute by TVETA, a college committed to providing you with quality programs and services that will enhance and enrich your technical hands-on skills to meet societal needs. It is a top-rated technical and vocational college in provision of training, innovation, and action research in Kenya and beyond. We provide quality technical vocational training and research in collaboration with stakeholders to produce highly skilled and innovative human resource. We offer certificate in general agriculture, diploma in entrepreneurial agriculture, diploma in general agriculture, artisan in storekeeping, certificate in computerized secretarial, certificate in supply chain management, certified in information studies, certified public accountant, diploma in accounting, diploma in supply chain management, certificate in ICT, diploma in ICT, certificate in welding and fabrication, diploma in welding and fabrication, certificate in hairdressing and beauty, diploma in fashion design and clothing, certificate in fashion design and clothing, among many. Kongoni Technical and Vocational College is located in Likuyani Sub-County of Kakamega County, next to Likuyani Sub-County headquarters along Kitale Eldoret Road. For more information, contact us on 0721927458 or 0712114908. You can also send your application to PO Box 4530-205 Matunda or write to us on email to kongonitvc@gmail.com. Kongoni Technical and Vocational College, technology and innovation to meet societal needs.
Engage with us on Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TVKE.
Let me tell you, when they give you a very good deal, okay, look for the hidden charges. Period. Forget about the figures that you're seeing. Just look for the hidden charges. It is his prerogative to have a conversation with chiefs and sub-chiefs. It's just so if you ask him not to have a close relationship with them, it's like asking a doctor not to speak to nurses.
The big question is, are women experiencing gender inequality? The male counterparts are being treated, so it's okay. Women have really been discriminated.
Tobias Hissa is my name. I'm the principal of Bungoma DB School.
The principal of Shibanga Mixed Secondary School.
Ni mwalimu mkuu wa shule ya watoto walemavu ya Nalonga.
Dr. Godfrey Murunga, the 4th principal of Kisiwa DTI.
I'm Zado Kunala, the manager for Kaimosi Friends Vocational Training Center.
This is Bushangala Secondary School.
Maisha TV, the Kenyan channel pushing information to Kenyan viewers through digital television platforms.
Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television
News.
Thank you for choosing Maisha Television for this broadcast.
Information.
The classes were in a poor condition.
Cultural programming. Coming to you through all major broadcasting platforms. Special in-depth coverage from around Kenya. Exclusive reporting from all across Kenya and the continent. Maisha TV presents high-class programming, engaging talk shows from our studios and outside broadcasting on a wide range of issues with trending perspectives.
I'm really asking our guys who are behind the camera to look for that clip and then play that clip.
Telling Kenyan stories you won't hear elsewhere.
The most wicked sight in my life is to see his tongue hanging almost up to here.
Tangu corona ianze mwezi wa 3 tumekuwa na changamoto mingi.
Watching stimulating debates on a hot seat.
I guess. Wait, I don't know. Wait. Let me tell you. Wait.
No. The latest happenings from around you on Maisha Prime. The Prime talk shows connects us with realities of life. Hivi sasa, looking at your everyday life.
Wazazi wameweza kuwapa uhuru watoto wao na ndiposa
and local business, finance and investment.
Some levels of smuggling of sugar.
Maisha TV digital platform engages users everywhere through multimedia approach technology. A Maisha Television digital platform, your local and continental channel platform where you choose it, watch it and love it.
Right, welcome back. My name is Bushabi Jr. You're watching Maisha Prime News, and now let's shift focus to our education segment. Kenya as a country has valued education, and at a time when knowledge is required for thriving in a fast-growing society, the government has put measures to ensure that every child is entitled to education. This is the case with Okodoi Secondary School, headed by Mr. John Ouma, who now spearheads an academic evolution in Teso Sub-County, Busia County.
Majina naitwa Ouma John. Ndimi mwalimu mkuu wa shule ya upili ya Baba Okodoi. Niliingia hapa mnamo mwaka wa 2016. Tangu wakati huo wanafunzi walikuwa 540, lakini kwa hivi sasa idadi imeongezeka from 540 to 960. Walimu ni wachapakazi, tunashirikiana nao pamoja kwa minajili ya kusukuma hili gurudumu. Kiakademia ni kwamba tumekuwa shule bora kwa miaka miwili mtawalia. Mwaka 2020 tulitoa wanafunzi wawili waliokuwa na ya kuondoa, na ndio ilikuwa shule bora Teso Kusini kwa kutoa mwanafunzi. Mnamo mwaka wa 2018 hali kadhalika tukatoa mwanafunzi bora Teso Kusini. Hilo ni jambo ambalo nafikia litokea kwa sababu ya ushirikiano ambao tulikuwa nao walimu pamoja na halmashauri ya shule. na chama cha walimu na wazazi.
The school principal says that the growth in academics is anchored on discipline, performing staff and supportive community as well as county and national governments.
Majengo tangu niingie hapa tumejenga majengo mbalimbali, madarasa mbalimbali tukishirikiana na halmashauri ya shule. Hali kadhalika mashirika mbalimbali kama World Bank wametujengea maabara na darasa 2. Serikali haikuachwa nyuma, ikatuletea darasa 1 CBC kwa minajili ya wale wanafunzi wa grade ya 6 ambao watafika humu shuleni.
Apart from the academic leverage, the school has invested in other economic-based programs such as fish farming and maize farming.
Miradi mbalimbali tumeanzisha. Kuna fish pond, kuna tumejenga vio, tumejenga tumepanda miti mbalimbali ili kuboresha mazingira yetu. Madarasa tangu niingie hapa nimejenga karibu madarasa 6. Idadi ya wanafunzi ilivyokuwa ikiongezeka ndiposa nikafikiria kwamba ni lazima madarasa hayo yajengwe.
With the help of the passionate teaching staff, the school is growing to even an excellent academic performance in the coming KCSE exams.
Wanafunzi wa mwaka huu jinsi tunavyowachuja huenda wakafanikiwa pia. Kinidhamu ni wanafunzi ambao wana nidhamu ya hali ya juu. Hili ni swala ambalo naweza kusema linatokana na walimu kwa sababu ya ushirikiano wao. Kile ambacho tumekishikilia zaidi ni kuona ya kwamba wanafunzi wetu wanapaa mbele kielimu. Ujumbe wangu kwa wanafunzi wa kidato cha 4 ni kwamba uzi ni ule ule. Kile ambacho kitakupatia kitu bora kwa maisha yako ya halafu ni kusoma kwa bidii, ili angaa upate mafanikio ya baadaye na uwe Mkenya ambaye anaweza kuaminiwa kwa lolote lile ambalo utalifanya.
For Maisha Prime Education Segment, Ambushabi Junior.
Now let's have a look at our special feature, My Hustle, My Life, My Story.
It is located on a hill, having a beautiful and attractive nature, attracting the foreign and domestic tourists. Milman Gardens opened in Bungoma Ward, Kandui Sub-County, few meters from Bungoma town, along Bungoma-Mumias Highways, the home away from home, following the delicious dishes.
My name is Fred Wekesa Kitui, and the hotel is called Milman Garden Hotel. It's located in Bungoma Ward, Bungoma area behind Nabongo Teachers College. We offer hotel services, which include accommodation. We have very nice cottages. We also do a lot of conference services. We have 3 nice conference halls. We have nice grounds where people come for social events, wedding, photo shooting, family outing, camping, and other social and family activities. We also offer restaurant services where you can bring groups, you can bring your family, you can bring family, friends. People come to have very nice fresh food here.
Mr. Wekesa, the resort manager, explains on how they started the hotel.
We thought of this business, my director had a big vision. You know, if you look at the environment here, it's quite unique, and we wanted to make it a wonder place for tourism activities, especially in Bungoma County. We thought this place is really attractive, and many people, by human nature, they love nature. You know, nature was the biggest attractive boost here. If you look around, you find very unique rocks, very unique sceneries. There are caves. People come here to see this very unique scenery. It is attractive for local tourism and international tourism. Earlier we had even chosen rock garden. When we were doing the process of registration of the business, we started with the name Rock Garden Hotel. But that name had already been taken by some other business when we went for the incorporation of business registration. So we had to change to Mulimani because, you know, this place is hilly. It's on top of the rocks. So that's why we thought that name suits the nature and the environment of the place. And indeed, if you can see around, it's on top. We're on the top of the rocks. That's why the name Mulimani was the most preferable name.
Wekesa says the good services offered is the main reason why people choose to dine in Mulimani Gardens.
If you look at the ambience and the environment of this place, it is just hospitable. It's just a home away from home. We have nice cottages here, where if you even bring your friends from far and wide, they'll just feel they are more than in Mombasa or in Naivasha. It's a home away from home.
They offer both African and foreign dishes to their customers.
We offer basically our most favorable food here. Most delicious food here is the African food. We do basically the best local chicken. We do the best local fish. And we do even goat barbecue. We do beef barbecue. Nice fresh food. We don't store food in our deep freezers, in big fridges. Our food is just fresh from the market. If it is chicken, we buy the local chicken from the market. And that's why people love our delicacy. We also do outside catering services. We do outside catering services to the county government of Bungoma. We do to individual customers. We do offer outside catering to other groups, NGOs, and other families that have loved our services, and we are always available to offer them at any time. People really need to be disciplined. People really need to be committed. People really need to be responsible. People really need to be very hardworking. This is an industry that you cannot sleep. You must be alert all the time, and you must be able to go an extra mile. You should be able to sacrifice and be able to offer the best to the public, so that the customers are the ones who will be making you'll be promoting your business and making sure that the business grows.
Apart from him benefiting from the business, the hotel has created job opportunities to Bungoma residents.
When we started this business, this place first of all was impassable. It was a no-go zone. It was just a thick forest around. In fact, a forest that was being used by criminals who were terrorizing people around, who were terrorizing people in Bungoma County, in Bungoma Town. But when we started this business, we opened up on this place. There is infrastructure, the roads. We managed to convince the county government of Bungoma. They have constructed a road around this place. It is now quite passable. They have even connected electricity, what has been connected around. People have even started businesses. People are building rental houses around here because they find the place is now very much attractive. And again, we have employed the locals. Over 70% of our staff are the local people. So we have decided also to give back to the community around here.
He narrates the challenges he suffers in the business.
Usually, you know, like everyone is feeling it now. The economic times are tough. The prices of various goods are fluctuating and they have skyrocketed. So you find it is quite challenging because now the customers, the food you are selling, they cannot be able to afford. They complain it is expensive, but when you go to the shops, the supermarkets, the wholesales, the prices have kept changing every now and then. Another challenge is, you know, when you are putting up such a big project, there are usually a lot of challenges that you will encounter here and there, and you really have to be someone who is focused.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television, my hustle, my story, I'm Philip Simiyu.
Alright folks, that's what we had for you today. Thank you for keeping it here. Remember, Maisha Prime News comes to you every Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. and 9 a.m. and also on weekends at 9 p.m. I'm Bushabe Jr. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Mashup will be coming next.